Retaking sites in CS2 can be super difficult, which is why I've watched tens, if not hundreds of pro demos to figure out what the best utility is to throw for retakes and how to retake every single site in the game. So I've compiled all that information into this video, so without further ado, let's get into it. B-Site on Ancient is one of the easiest sites to retake, and it's because of how much utility you can throw and just generally deny information from the T's. So I'm going to show you some really good utility that you can use if you're coming from CT, as well as if you're coming from Cave. Now, if you're running up through CT like this, what you can do is if you don't have a teammate that's going to be coming in through Cave, you can actually throw this cave smoke on the fly just by aiming at the top of this box, and then once your crosshair gets down enough, you can jump throw. This will bounce off of the wall and then hit the ground and then go all the way into Cave, and it's not going to extend out to the point where they could lurk out of it, so it's really good smoke. Alternatively, if you're running in through CT, you can actually come all the way over to this corner, but first make sure you're clearing long and just clearing these close angles. You can get in this corner and you'll see this little gray spot here on this brick. Here, if I move my crosshair, you can see it a little bit better. If you just put your crosshair on there and do a middle click jump throw, this will be another really good cave smoke that won't really let this tease lurk out of it. From this same corner, you can actually throw another molly that will land in Cubby, which will molly anyone off back there. And then also you can throw a ramp smoke. If you look at these three leaves here, if you just do this leaf on the bottom right middle kind of one, do a left click throw. It lands on ramp perfectly, and there you go. You have a full utility set. From this one corner, if someone drops you a smoke and you guys have enough time, you can smoke off Cave, you can molly back site, and then you can also smoke off ramp. And this will give you a full utility set, denying any info from the T's, pulling this guy back site, and you guys are ready to pop off. Maybe have someone send over a flash, and you guys can take site really easily. Now, if you're coming from Cave, you don't really have as many options, but what I like to do if I'm coming from Cave is if you kind of look at these bricks right here that go along the wall right there, you can actually bounce a molly off there as well as a grenade, and it's gonna basically just hit the default plant spot, and you could get a lot of kills by doing this. A lot of time in pugs, you'll see people just run up ramp and take site. They'll smoke endgame or maybe take long, and they're not immediately going to fight you off Cave. So if you're just kind of sitting here in Cave with your util, it's a really easy molly to use, really easy grenade, and it works super well. If you're looking for a fast, safe, and easy way to sell your skins, go check out the link in the description to sellyourskins.com. You just sign in with Steam, choose the exact skins that you want to sell, and select one of the many different payment methods such as PayPal, crypto, and even bank transfer. And if you use my promo code MECTON, you'll also receive an extra 5% on top of your skins. They also have a level system where if you sell more skins, you'll receive a higher bonus. So go check it out, the link is in my description below. When it comes to A-Site, it's a bit more tricky as there's way more spots that the T's can play, but I'll show you a few good smokes as well as a molly that you guys can use. Coming from CT, you can actually get into this corner here in the CT spawn, and if you look at the mountain here, there's a little dip in the mountain right here. And if you just do a left click jump throw, it's going to land all the way into A main and block off A main. From the same corner, if you just aim at this little spot in the wall and then do a walking jump throw, this will be able to molly off the boost, so you can throw the A main smoke as well as the boost molly. Besides that, if you're going to head into Temple, if you want to smoke off Donut and you don't have any teammates, you can actually go up and go to this little brick here, crouch, and just aim in the middle of this tile here and just do a left click throw, and you get a perfect Donut smoke. I see some players in my games try to do a molly where they molly like big box like this, or they just throw some util while they're coming up CT. I generally don't like this because I feel like it's just so risky that you'll just have someone either from backside swing you, someone from this big box swing you, even the boost could peek you. There's a lot of opportunities for them to just get a free kill while you have your utility out, so I don't really do this too often. If you're coming in from Donut, you're a bit more limited on your utility, but what I like to do is I like to kind of just do a little jump spot and make sure no one's holding brokey, and then I like to throw a molly all the way over there. Just kind of helps and leaves anyone from not being able to come out of Temple. And also what you can do is from this corner here is you can throw kind of a pretty janky A main smoke. You just do a jump throw on that, and as you can see, it lands right here. It's not the greatest A main smoke, but if your team is limited on util and none of your CT guys have a smoke for it, and you know that they're playing A main, then this can be pretty useful. Just be careful of the boost though, because they can boost behind the smoke. When it comes to retaking A on Dust2, there's a few things that the pros use, but overall it comes down to a lot of communication with your long player, your CT player, and your cap player. But I'm going to show you some good util as well as what you guys can do to have a better successful rate of taking back a site. Typically, I like to come from long, and starting off, the first thing you can do is if you just look at this little wood bar here, you can throw a quick flash like so. It isn't some god flash. It will blind anyone who's playing these double boxes angle as well as anyone who's peeking from goose. So that's just a nice flash you can throw really easily without having to do much thinking about it. Another thing you can do from the same spot is you just get in this corner here. You can throw this lurk smoke just by aiming right where I'm looking and then doing a left click throw. This smoke allows you to get much closer to sight, and you can take the duels a little bit more fairly as you have the smoke to work with. And what you can do as well is you can use it to delay and have your teammates work from CT, they can get a little bit closer to ramp. Your long player can start to move up because they're probably going to be looking at you towards the smoke, just being ready for you to peek this angle like so. Last thing I like to throw is that when I'm just on the run here, I can kind of just look at this dot and I can just bounce a molly off of it, and this will molly top double and behind. So anyone who's trying to peek there will be mollied off and forced into a fight with you. The most important thing about retaking A is just having communication with your long player, CT player, and cat player. As long as you guys all know exactly what you're doing and the timing that you're supposed to be doing the retake at, then chances are you guys will win the round. If you're pressuring ramp from CT, your cat player is taking the fight and your long player is starting to move up, you guys have a very high chance of winning because it's so many angles that these guys need to worry about. Like this guy has to check his ramp, his deep long, make sure this cat guy doesn't come up. There's another guy double. He's solely focused on cat, while the long guy can easily kill him. There's just so many things that the T's have to worry about if you guys are all on the same timing. When it comes to the B-Site, it is notoriously one of the hardest sites to retake in the game, so I'm going to show you some really good utility they can use, as well as just some overall tips like I did on the A-Site. So when it comes to flashes, there's two main flashes that I see the pros throw. The first one that Monosticks throws, if you just get it in this corner and aim at the corner of this white box and do a jump throw, it's a really good flash that will blind pretty much anyone on site. It'll blind anyone playing back here, anyone towards site. So overall, just a pretty solid flash. It's very versatile. Another one you can throw is if you just get into this corner of the wall right here and see where these wires connect and just do a left click throw like that. It'll pop over top. Not really blinding you too much, but it will blind everyone else on site. Another cool utility set you can do is if you just get into this corner here and look at the corner of whatever the heck this thing is and do a left click jump throw, this will just smoke off B tunnels. And from the same spot, what you can actually do is you look at this little indent in the brick right here at the top where it meets this wood post, you can do another left click jump throw, and this will molly off green box. Two other mollies I like to use is when you're coming up window and you want to clear out this guy back here because he can be super annoying to deal with. You can actually just do a right click jump throw molly like this and it will completely clear him out. Because with the incendiary mollies, they're not as good as the T mollies anymore. Some of the old lineups just don't work as well, so I find that throwing it on the fly like that is much more effective, as long as there's no one actively sitting up here waiting to swing you. Another one I like to throw is if you just get on this green box right here, and then you just aim at this middle post or nail or whatever the heck it is and do a jump throw. This will molly back plat, just like that, super easily. My best tip for taking back B-Site is to make sure your doors player and your windows player are just coordinated. Like a lot of the times the T's will throw a really bad smoke like this, which will allow you to kind of lurk up pretty close into the smoke and be able to swing out from sight like this. So if you can get deep into the smoke and your window player can be ready for you to peek, then you guys can get swing on the same timing, and a lot of time it can make retakes a lot easier. Anubis is known as one of those harder maps to actually master when it comes to CT side, just because the T's are able to take up so much space of the map in such a short amount of time. So I'm going to show you some really good utility you can use on both the sites, as well as just some general tips as well. When it comes to B-Site, a lot of the time I'll see players in my games go through temple when they're trying to go for a retake, and generally I just don't recommend going through temple, and I always recommend to go through CT. The reason behind this is just because there's a lot more angles you have to clear out. You have to clear those pizza, close left, all these sort of angles here, as well as someone on site, someone from E-box, B main, and you're limited from where you can clear from. Whereas you're coming through CT, it's a lot easier to clear these angles. You can clear them one at a time. You can look at pillar, look at dark, left here, and clear out pizza and everything else together. So if you have multiple people towards CT, I think general retakes will be much easier. If you are coming through CT and you don't have a B main player, what you can actually do is you can go in this corner right here, and you'll see this little T right here. If you just kind of look at the bottom of the T, like middle bottom where my crosshair is, and just do a jump throw, this will actually smoke off B main. Super easy smoke to use, and I find this is the most effective one that I throw because a lot of players will be sitting towards here playing the post plant position, and having an early smoke will kind of throw them off and just give you an advantage. Now, if you don't have a teammate going through E-box, you can actually smoke it just by going over to this corner right here. And if you see this little dot, I'll zoom in for you there. And just aim a little bit to the right and then do a jump throw. This will give you a perfect E-box smoke that will just generally block anyone from being able to peek bomb. So you can either go for the diffuse, throw a molly behind the smoke. There's a lot of things you can do here. So another utility I like to throw when I'm going through CT is if you actually look towards this, like, whatever the heck this thing is, and if you look at this line and kind of where it aims down right here, you just aim at the top of this line and then walk and throw the molly. It'll bounce onto default, mollying any sort of the default plant spots. You can also throw a grenade here as well and do the exact same thing. You can do a little bit of a pair. You can also do this by looking at this stone right here and just walk throwing once your crosshair meets the second stone, and it's equally as good. You're just a little bit more exposed when doing this. If you're coming in through E-Box, there's really only one piece of utility I use consistently. It's either a flash to actually get into E-Box, and then once you're in here, I like to throw this little dark molly, right like that, and this little molly dark, clear out anyone back there, and it'll make it a lot easier for your teammates coming through CT to make sure that no one's actually there. A-Site Anubis, I think, is one of the easier sites to retake, and I'm going to show you some really good utility you can use. If you're coming in from storage, you can throw a really nice A main smoke just by lining up with this stair here. And if you crouch and you see this little dot on the brick, I'll zoom in for you. If you aim a little bit to the left of it here, do a left click throw, this will perfectly smoke off A main. And from this exact same spot, if you go to that exact same stair, line up from the same spot, just move a little bit to the right, you can just aim right here and left click throw, and this will also molly pillar. Another thing I like to do is if I'm coming through A main and I have cleared pillar and I don't see anyone close, they're probably going to be playing towards heaven. So you can actually just go right here, aim right here, do a left click throw, and it's a really easy heaven smoke that works pretty well. And yeah, if you have a guy's storage, throwing that utility set, it makes this site super easy to take. So if you just have one guy's storage, maybe two guys camera, going out in a 3v4 retake or 3v3, chances are you're going to win because mollying out this position right here is super big, and smoking off A main that early has a big impact on the round. If you're retaking from heaven, there's a few things you can do. If you have a teammate who's already sitting in heaven, you can actually drop down here, line yourself up with this little triangle, and if you just look at this lantern and do a left click throw, it's going to give you a perfect flash if you're a heaven player. And see, if I just do anti-flash here and peek like this, it'll blind anyone on site. It's a really good pop flash to use. Now if you're heaven alone, you can actually just go into this corner and do a full utility set like so. First off, aim at this light here while crouching and do a left click throw. That will smoke off hut. From the same position, you can just aim at this little electrical box and throw, and that will molly blue box. And then what you can also do is throw your own little pop flash by turning around, looking at the knee of this green guy, and just throwing it like this, and then peeking out with your pop flash. Coming in for mini, you're a little bit more restricted on some of the options you have, but generally what I recommend doing is just easily smoking off squeaky like this. This will smoke off squeaky plus the vent. Another thing I like to do is if you just get up with this garage door from the same position you threw the squeaky smoke from, you can just middle click and do a throw like this, and it's just a little pop flash for you to swing in, make sure there's no top hut guy. It'll blind anyone holding this right angle, and it's just a nice little pop flash you can use. If you're retaking from lobby, I definitely recommend going through hut because this is a really good pop flash that you can use to blind pretty much everyone on site, including someone playing top hut or even breeze. All you need to do is just aim at this general like right side of this brick here and just do a running throw. It's going to pop out. You can just swing out with it. This blinds the breeze player as well as top hut player and anyone holding you or jiggling from back site. If you're retaking B from ramp, a really good molly to throw is if you just look at the right of this sign here, kind of where the corner of the wall is, you just throw a molly like this and it will molly ninja and all this area there. When you're scaling out, if you don't have any players taking double or control, what you should be doing is you just bounce a molly off of the wall like this. That will molly off this area right here. When you're clearing out site, you're going to want to make sure that you're clearing this corner of controls. A lot of players want to sit right where I'm looking, and they get a really nice off angle on you, as well as making sure that the back of clock is completely clear. If you're coming in from halls, the first thing you're going to want to do is take control. Make sure you have a teammate behind you or someone to trade you out. Clear out this first corner, make sure that control is all clear, and what you can do from here is you can smoke the left side of ramp as well as throw a molly into ninja. From the same position, you can actually go into this corner and clear clock, clear any of the close left angles, and you can just hold ramp. So if you're coming from squeaky, you can open the door and just throw a little bounce flash like this to go out, and then you can just pop out, swing, make sure that's clear, make sure your top angles are clear, and go for you. If you happen to find yourself on the worst map in the pool right now, aka Inferno, I do have a few little mollies and smokes that you can use for both A and B site, so let me show you. If you're coming in from CT and you stand in this corner, if you just aim where I'm looking here and then do a walking throw, this will molly the back of new box and it'll get anyone off of that position. In the same corner, if you aim at the top of the roof and do another walking throw, this will molly emo as well. Super good mollies. If you're coming in from banana and want to molly new box, just go up to the barrel, aim here, and throw. If you're lucky enough, your incendiary will molly all of the new box. Another thing you can do if you're coming from banana is go into this corner here, aim where I'm looking, and do a middle click W jump throw for this really good pop flash. This will blind pretty much anyone on the site, including the fountain player, anyone playing towards emo, and anyone playing towards new box as well. A-Site Inferno is probably the hardest site to retake in the game, and there's a reason why when you're watching pros, a lot of the time the CTs won't even go for the retake because it's such a tricky site to hold. Ts can play angles like on top of this box, play in the corner, play ninja, play graveyard, play big pit, play mini pit. They could have someone in apps, they could have someone pulling the lane at this bicycle here. There's so many angles they have to clear, and there's not a lot of places you can throw util from. But there's a few good tricks I like to use and some general tips when trying to take the site in like a 3v4 scenario. So first, let me show you some quick utility that you can use if you're coming in from the arch side. You just go up to this little red thing here and then aim right here and just throw a molly. This will bounce down and hit site like this. This used to be super popular, but since they did nerf incendiaries, it doesn't hit the back corner. But I find if you know that they're planning right here, it can still be a really good molly. Another lineup is if you actually jump on the corner of this red box here and aim at the end of this black line and just nade. This will nade towards default and get you a nice little 40 or 50 chunk of nade damage. You have a teammate that's going to start walking up here. What you can do is you can get in this corner with a flashbang, aim at the top of this wood board and do a middle click jump throw. And this is a little pop flash, so if I throw it again right here, so if your teammate is coming up here, you can throw the flash, you can wait for it, pops, and you can swing. It's going to blind anyone in this corner, ninja, graveyard. It's a pretty good flash. Now, if you're coming in through the lane side, what I actually like to do is throw a molly like this. And the reason I don't throw it directly into pit is because I find that if you throw it to the left here, it almost forces this guy to peek you into pit. So if you throw this molly and you're already ready for that gunfight, you know he's going to swing you, and a lot of times you have the advantage. You could also do a molly plus a grenade, so when he swings into it, gets hit for 50. That could even get you a kill right there. When you're actually coming down lane, you're going to want to clear all these default angles, make sure graveyard's clear. But the tricky part is if you don't have someone coming up through there towards arch, you're not going to really know if someone could be peeking you like this from mini pit, if anyone's just ready to hold your cross. So that's why if you are going to go for this retake, you need to have at least one player coming in through the arch side or the motorcycle side, and have at least one player coming in through lane. And a lot of the time, if you want to have a successful retake, you will need to have someone coming in through apartments and lurking behind, because you get such an advantageous angle from being up here. And a lot of the time it surprises the T side players, especially if you're in a lower rank. That's really all I have for this site. If you have the right players in the right positions at the right time, this site can be retakeable, but otherwise I would probably save. Unlike Inferno A-Site, I feel like Mirage is the complete opposite. Mirage A-Site is so open, there's so many opportunities for the CTs to retake, and I'm going to show you some good util as well as some tips. Starting off, if you're coming in from cat, you can smoke palace by aiming here and then doing a jump throw. I throw this a lot because I find that my teammates on site aren't going to want to smoke palace when they're fighting for their life because there's 5 people running out a ramp. And then if you're also coming from cat, you can walk up to top con and then throw this default molly. If you're coming through CT instead and they planted for con or for ramp, you can aim here and do a jump throw next to the missiles, and this will molly off the bomb planter. And if you want to smoke off ramp pretty safely, you can actually go out in front of jungle, aim at this little dark spot and just do a left click throw, and this will smoke off ramp perfectly. If you want to help your teammates and you're coming from market, just throw some easy flashes like this. This will blind anyone coming from ramp, palace, under balk, even default. As long as your teammates are playing towards bench or stairs, they won't be flashed. My number one tip for retaking this site on Mirage is just to play in numbers. I've won so many retakes, even having like 3 or 4 people towards CT or jungle or stairs or just towards one side, because you're able to single out so many of those Ts and then end up getting the defuse. It's really worth it. When it comes to retaking B, you are really limited to any sort of practical options when it comes to smokes and mollies, really, because of these big buildings. And obviously when you're coming in through market, you're very limited to the window, the door. Coming in through cat, there really isn't a lot of angles where you can throw utility from. So the only utility I see consistently used by pros is just good flashes. And a really good flash you can use is just by bouncing it off of the frame here. This will blind anyone in this corner, anyone peeking from get right or arches in general trying to hold this window cross, anyone playing back here, and anyone who's swinging out trying to get the window kill. Now if you're running into B-Site, just some easy flashes you can throw if you're running to market is you can just bounce them off this, just throw them off the roof. These flashes aren't going to be perma flashes where you're going to be flashing them for 3 seconds or like the full whites, but they do blind like bench guy, for example, when he's peeking, blinds them for a second. If you're playing towards get right here, also blinds you. It's just a solid flash. Better to use it when your teammates are pretty close to exiting towards the site. A really good flash you can use if you're coming in from cap, just by looking at the brick here and just doing a left click throw. You land on top and you can just swing out with it. It's going to blind anyone back site, bench, and playing back there. It's a really good flash to use. Now when it comes to train, I could very well lie to you and tell you guys that I have played this map before. I have never played this map before. I've never watched this map before, besides when NRG beat Gamer Legion on it, and that was probably about it. But I did learn this cool flash that I found on YouTube, where if you go back here, still don't know what this is called, and you just aim right here and do a jump throw. I guess it does a little pop flash for onto the A site, and yeah, that's about it. But in all seriousness, go check out these videos that I'll have put on screen right now. I'll leave them in the description as well. They are much better than what I could ever tell you what to throw on this map, because I don't know. Hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. If you want to see more videos like this in the future, let me know down in the comments below. And also go join my Discord. I'll be hosting a giveaway very soon. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.